Hello guys, Crudeless here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls 3. In the last one we defeated the Nameless King, and today we ventured here to the Untended Graves. In the last episode we found an item. A particular set of skills. No, I'm just kidding. A certain ring, the Ashness's ring. Was a treasure brought before Lothric's queen. She had it enshrined in the cemetery of untended graves so that one day an unkindled might profit from its use. An unkindled might profit here. She stowed it away for an unkindled, just like us. Soul of a crestfallen knight. And if you guys remember this thing, it looks eerily similar to a place we've found before. More of these guys. You see these before in the... almost at the tomb, back in the Cathedral of the Deep. These are the Grave Wardens. We also have some items on those. The Grave Warden Twin Blades. The Warden Twin Blades, paired weapon wielded by the Grave Wardens of the Cathedral of the Deep. The Grave Wardens of the Cathedral, who puts down reincarnated corpses with weapons that cause profuse bleeding. Why are they here? The graves were untended, which means that there was no one here to tend for the graves, basically. There are dogs here. Seen those near the Cathedral of the Deep as well. There are more dogs down here as well. Come on, let's try to get these guys down before they do too much damage to us. The dogs are like easily to underestimate because they are so quick and they don't deal a ton of damage. And we die to them, of course. We die to the dogs. Didn't die to the Nameless King. We died to the dogs. That's how Dark Souls 3 is. Oh well. Don't have to kill that many mobs down here. Let's use another ember and make our way across the path. Oh, I love this place. I love this game as well. But it's going towards the end now. I hope you guys have enjoyed the playthrough so far, as it has been probably my favorite playthrough of any Dark Souls game that I've made. I thought number 2 went pretty well as well. The Scholar of the First Sin. We covered pretty much everything in that one. And we fought against those bosses pretty splendidly. But yeah, just something about Dark Souls 3 that... or this playthrough of Dark Souls 3 that pretty much has stuck with me. And I'm pretty much... This is the playthrough where I kind of switched out my old microphone, buckled up to get some better equipment to make the quality better. And I made some guides for this game before the playthrough as well. Just wanted to make this one as good as possible, and I hope you guys have enjoyed that. The Grave Wardens were tasked with disposing of the ever-rising corpses that plague the cathedral. Their clothes are utterly putrid, drenched in the blood and mucilage of their undertaking. Let's try to get these dogs now. It's time to get our revenge! These are a lot easier to take down if you're using a... Look at this camera angle here. This is the dog killing camera angle. A lot easier if you're using a bigger weapon and not a thrusting weapon. But since we are, I guess there's no other way to do this. You want to prepare a fire weapon, or I guess I'm using the Carthage Flame here because there will be some dangerous enemies coming right up around the corner. Does this place remind you of anything? I'm gonna pull one of these at a time. If you want to kill them, of course. I doubt I'll actually have a use for the upgrade items from this guy. Titanite, or the... What's it called again? The Titanite... Not the Titanite slab. We'll see here. There we go. Titanite scale, that's what it's called. But up here, there's basically these two guys having a fun time. Loafing around. Remember, you can't stagger these guys if you just keep hitting them, so I would just recommend that. There we go. He was too far away from me, so I couldn't get the attack in. Those will not respawn, so we clear that area out pretty nicely. And make sure to bring some sort of light source here. Either using a fire weapon or you have a torch as well. It can brighten up the area a bit. And we are embered, so we shine the area up naturally, of course. But here... This path, this bell, might remind you of something. Or maybe by dark spirit daughter of Crystal Creamhild. She is a caster of sorts, as it looks like. You can kick her off the edge if you want to. But let's just keep hitting her. There we go. And as we approach this area here, you realize you've been here before. Or later. You can't see anything beyond this path, but if you notice, this is basically where we found the first bonfire. These guys around here, who were just suicided in the previous episode. This is Firelink Shrine. The untended graves. Literally. The same place. But everything is dark. Why is it dark? First of all, these enemies are a lot more dangerous. They have the same amount of health, I think, but they are a lot more aggressive now. Still drop the Cleric's Chime, which we haven't gotten before from the irregular ones, though both can drop it. Sacred Chime for casting miracles of the gods. Chimes such as these are often given to clerics who become undead. Equip a miracle to cast miracles, blah blah blah. Equip a miracle to cast miracles. You don't really need to kill these, but I'm just showing you guys this place is in fact the same area. But something is different. Oh, I love this, I love this, I love this so much. First of all, there isn't an item up on top of this thing. It's only this thing right here. And the stuff has been rearranged somehow to change things up a bit. If you run through this first area, a lot of times you will be surprised by how things have changed. There isn't a guy there to plunge attack towards. There is instead a guy back here trying to ambush you. And also these guys have crossbows with fire now, which might prove to be difficult. Come on. Now you might wonder, where is this place? We are directly beneath the caves. You can summon the... Oh, would you look at that? You can summon an old friend, one of the first NPCs we killed in the game, the master. Come here. Guess not. That dropped the Uchigatana and the tattered armor. And that basically spoils that there is a boss fight coming up. Of course there is. Now I just wanted to show you guys the item we found. Take a look at these two. This one recovers HP, this one recovers HP, this one recovers FP. The rings we found. Where are they? The rings we found. This one recovers HP with Estus Flask, this one recovers FP with Ashen Estus Flask, of course. This one was left by the Queen of Lothric. This one was entrusted to a certain Firekeeper, but she never met her champion. Okay? And also, more importantly, this one is blessed by the Queen of Lothric. The Queen of Lothric, married to the former King of Saros, was initially revered as a goddess of fertility and bounty. She disappeared after giving birth to Ocelot. Okay? And this one is the hidden blessing. There is a grave in Lothric that sees no visitors, a dark place where ruthless warriors rest. The Queen of Lothric alone cared to wish the poor souls good fortune. So that's pretty much the lore we have on this place right now. Do you see the pieces falling together? We also have the 3 rings here of the rumored pillars of Lothric. This one is of the Knight, Strength, the ones that rear dragons. This one is the hidden one for the Black Hand, the Hunters, to punish enemies in the ways that the King's 3 pillars cannot. And this is for the Scholars. The Scholars has been considered one of the 3 pillars of the King's rule, the Master of the Grand Archives. But there is one left, the original 3rd pillar. But more importantly, we have a reunion coming up. This time, with champion Gundyr. And yes, you can see a difference. He does not have the pus of man coming out of his back this time. And he's also called the champion, not the Eudix. And he does have a couple of new attacks. So you want to be careful with him. As he's a lot more difficult now. But this is pretty much... I love this from a game design perspective. Oh my Christ, he's really dangerous now. And he's running towards me. Come on. Basically showing you changes from the first time you fought him. And he has the same abilities, but some are changed. And he has more powerful stuff coming towards you. And he has more moves, like this one. And he has a kick as well. I love this fight. One of the better fights in the game, to be honest. Like this shoulder slam. That's really, really cool. I could dodge through that. I hate that move. It's so difficult to dodge it. There we got the parry in. But he is still like the champion that if you fight him at the beginning. As you can see, that time he was severely weakened, but this time he's really strong. Oh my god. And the kick. I love that combo. It's so cool. Another one of my the awesome things in this game. Oh, come on. Come on. Let's heal up. Ah, yeah, there we go. Sorry if I keep screaming this time. Almost got him. Come on. And there we go. Champion Gundyr. In the darkness of the Firelink Shrine. Find the Black Knight glaive. Black Knights out here. Why? Glaive of the Black Knights who wander the lands, used to face the Chaos Demons. But more importantly, we got the soul of Champion Gundyr. Once a champion came late to the festivities and was greeted by a shrine without fire and a bell that would not toll. He was too late to the festivities. Once. I want you guys to take a look at the ring we just found. The ring was entrusted to a certain firekeeper, but in the end she never met her champion. Champion Gundyr, perhaps? He never came, he was too late. Once. What happened? What happened? Let's light the bonfire. Before we go on through the door, as we can go through the door, I want to check out the transposing things we can do with those weapons. Because there is a ton of lore in this place that is so amazing to take a look at, and it's pretty beautiful. Both from a design perspective, but also from a lore perspective as well. So we want to head up here and talk to Lilith. Why from a design perspective? Well, because you have to basically retrace same steps you've done before, but this time it's more difficult, so you basically have to use the stuff you've learned. And from a lore perspective, well, you just have to wait and see. First of all, we get the Prisoner's Chain. Increases vigor, endurance, and vitality, but take more damage. Risk-reward kind of deal. Portion of a steel chain used to restrain Gundyr. A prisoner is one who staked everything on a belief. A proclivity most apparent in the greatest of champions. Symbolizing being linked to a handmaiden, perhaps? Not a handmaiden, but a firekeeper, perhaps? Like we saw with Morn... not with Morn, but with the Aegon previously. Halberd of Gundyr, the champion, received when he was charged with its duty. This old cast iron halberd has the power to break poise, and is said to never crumble, seeming to suggest that Gundyr was fated to eternal service from the beginning. Fated to eternal service. Gonna buy the ring. And also, the handmaid mysteriously has the armor. Let's take a look at this. She also has the hidden blessing, so... Where is it? Where is it? It's down here. Gundyr's helm. Ancient helm of a set of cast iron armor belonging to champion Gundyr, modeled after a former king. Gundyr, or the belated champion, was bested by an unknown warrior. We have bested him. He then became a sheath to a coiled sword in the hopes that someday the first flame would be linked once more. Or perhaps it was someone else. He was linked to the coiled sword. We found him the first time. We ripped the coiled sword out of his body, remember? And he awoke with the pulse of man inside. And we fought him. So someone must have put him there and put that sword inside him, right? That's logical. And force him to be there. And perhaps we'll see who that is in a while. So we're back here, the Untended Graves. Probably use my souls, but there is some stuff here we can buy or get to spend souls on. And we opened this door before. Another thing I want to mention here is the fact that, you know, Aegon brought the cleric to this area as well. She brought the cleric to Firelink Shrine for some reason. This is where the Firekeepers meet their end inside the tower. You see some more of these Black Knights as well, which is strange. Why are they Black Knights here? Well, there is an explanation for that as well. They're not fighting the Abyss, which is the darkness around here pretty much like signifies that this is filled with Abyss. They're not fighting the Abyss, okay? At least I don't think so, because there aren't any Abyss creatures here. This place has just been swallowed. But there are some really neat parallels with this area. Because you can see here we approach the Firelink Shrine, but everything is shrouded in darkness. What is this? Well, there is... We heard this before, but the lands of Dark Souls is in shifting time and space. Solaire explains this in the first game, that the time in Londor, time is changing. And it's basically a gameplay way to explain that different people can cooperate differently and see corpses and, you know, ghosts of other players. Because, in a way, every player that goes through the game is a ghost in another one's game, right? So one could say that every time one player beats the game, that it happens in a certain, like a parallel universe to this one. The story is the same, but the players decide to do things differently. So they create like sort of a multiverse, in a way, inside the game. Here we find the Hornet Ring. We have the Leo Ring, Hornet Ring, and the Hawk Ring. So this one is associated with Lord's Blade Kieran, one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn, the First Lord, boosting with critical attacks. So backstabs, parries, stuff like that. The Mask Kieran was the only woman to serve in Gwyn's 4 Knights, and her curved sword granted a swift death to any and old enemies of the throne. Another interesting fact here that you can notice is this sword here. Now this is the place where we found Hawkwood basically kneeling previously in the start of the playthrough, and also where we found his shield. And Kieran in Dark Souls 1 was the lover, presumably, of Artorius of the Abyss Walker. And this sword here looks extremely like that one, and also to the Undead Legion swords. So there is a link here. You have the Old Wolf of Farron, and Artorius, of course, the wolf, and Sif being pretty much linked directly and, like, I guess, by that. More of these guys. Come on. Let's not get killed by the Black Knight. There we get the parry. But there are some more interesting stuff here that we can find as well. Ah. Over here, this is where we fought the Katana Master. Find the Chaos Blade. A cursed sword of unknowing origin, bearing uncanny streaks on its blade. Attacks also damage its wielder. The sword is not unlike a thing mishappen. Granted life, but never welcome in this world. In other words, chaos itself. Chaos itself. That's pretty much talking about the chaos that the Witch of Islith created as well. Didn't belong to this world, but it was created anyway. Soul of a crestfallen knight. Don't think there's anything else out here. No, pretty much not. But inside, there are 2 things of significance. Two very important things. So let's head down to the entrance. Let's avoid that guy for now. And this. This is the coiled sword fragment. You can see the coiled sword has been broken. There. This is Firelink Shrine. This is a really nice item, by the way. Fragment of the coiled sword of a bonfire which served its purpose long ago. Return caster to last bonfire used for resting or to the bonfire in Firelink Shrine. Bonfires are linked to one another irreversibly, retaining their affinity long after their purpose is exhausted. Irreversibly. This is Firelink Shrine, as you remember.
Well, fancy that. A lost lamb wandereth in, with nary a peep from the bell. Well, thou shouldst my purpose know. What can this old handmaid provide thee? To skirt the curse's grasp, tarry not for long. 'Tis dark for now, and not a soul stirs, but remember, fires are known to fade in quiet. Or perhaps thou'rt captive already, like the poor girl.
Now, I want to put you guys towards the Priestess's Ring. This is the last ring of the 3 pillars of Lothric, or technically the 4. A ring engraved with a portrait of the High Priestess. You see, the Priestess is basically the same as the Handmaiden we're talking to right now. In Lothric, the High Priestess has long been considered one of the 3 pillars of the king's rule. The High Priestess also served as the prince's wet nurse. Now, the wet nurse takes care of the prince, and we remember that she probably took care of Lothric and Lorien here in the queen's absence. At least that's like interpreted from that one. We also have the Wolf Knight armor, Artorius' armor found here. Twilight Blue Tassel is damp and will ever remain so. The vanquished knight left behind only wolf's blood and his legacy of duty, and the Legion of Farron was formed to bear his torch, and the armor of the Abyss Watchers suggests their own eventual end. So yeah. She still sells items, and she stands here and talks about the curse's grasp.
Not tarry long.
And she's here still. You also find the blacksmith's hammer, which is where is it? There we go. Metal hammer passed down amongst blacksmith of the shrine. Serves as a strike weapon, but also excels at reducing poise and breaking the guard of a shield. Of course, a hammer's true potential is realized in the hands of a blacksmith. 100. But over here, something is strange. There is a illusory wall and a corpse. We find the eyes of a firekeeper. Reveals horrors to the sightless firekeeper. A pair of dark eyes, said to be the eyes of the first firekeeper, and the light that was lost by all firekeepers to come. It reveals to the sightless firekeepers things that they should never see. The eyes of the first firekeeper, and the light that was lost by all firekeepers to come. So, presumably, this place, currently in Lothric, as we've seen it throughout the entire game, had a firekeeper here, and the champion that never arrived, Gundyr. So she died here, and this is how the world turn into with Lothric, the world of Lothric, with Lothric Castle, Lorien, and everything, because the Gundyr came too late to his mate. Now, interestingly enough, there is a Firekeeper in our world as well, and we are inadvertently, we are her champion. Like, in reference to this, one could only presume that, because we are protecting her, giving her souls. We're basically doing her work as her champion, and there she is. So, in the place we were just at, that was wrong, or that didn't happen at all. Gundyr didn't happen, and what is going on here? This is just going over my head right now, because Gundyr in our world, he was defeated by us, and he had the coiled sword inside him. So either we're traveling between worlds, or we're traveling in time, and Lothric, as we saw it, was in either the future of this place or the past, or both perhaps, as maybe this world outside isn't actually Lothric at all. Maybe it's just the alternate universe that we're trying to save. Maybe we're doing like an alternate universe thing where we go into like a separate world to get the Lords of Cinder here, and then we're gonna save our timeline by offering those. You'll see in a while. Let's have a chat with the handmaiden. By the way, glossing over the handmaiden here, perhaps she was sent there by the queen. I doubt she is the queen. I doubt she is the queen as well, but I think the queen is gone with Ocelot. Perhaps she took Ocelot with him after she fled, after giving birth to him, because Osiris went mad. Perhaps, maybe that's the DLC coming up. As I said previously in another episode, we will be doing the DLCs for this game, as those are... I'll be uploading those with this character as well. We'll be doing those DLCs, so just stay along. And if those when those are out, the DLC episode will be added to the playlist right here. But for now, we want to give the Firekeeper here the eyes we just found, because the Firekeepers are blind. We'll now be able to give her the ability to see the world that she was not supposed to see.
Welcome home, Ashen One. Speak thine heart's desire. Ashen One, are these eyes? How gracious of thee, Ashen One. The very things we Firekeepers have been missing. Ashen One, my thanks for the eyes thou'st given. But Firekeepers are not meant to have eyes. It is forbidden. These will reveal through a sliver of light frightful images of betrayal. A world without fire. Ashen One, is this truly thy wish? Of course. I serve thee, and will do as thou bidst. This will be our private affair. No one else may know of this. Stay thy path. Find lords to link the fire, and I will blindly tend to the flame until the day of thy grand betrayal. Very well, then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls. Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels. Farewell, Ashen One. Mayst thou thy peace discover.
Now, we gave her the eyes, and we promised her to steal the fire. But we are going to hide it from everyone else. Now, interestingly enough, she was blind. The Firekeepers are all blind, to keep them from seeing the darkness. They have the darkness within me, as the other cleric. We talked to her a lot about the darkness that nibbled at her from within. We give them the eyes to see this world, and she was able to see betrayal and the world as it really is. Perhaps it is much better, like it's sort of I guess it's sort of a tale that maybe not seeing the horrors of the world is better than being witness to them. We also have to remember this lady over here. Yuri of Londor.
Ah, our lord and rightful liege. Speak freely, thy lordship. I am at thy beck and call. Our lord and liege, I prithee, play the usurper. When the moment cometh to link the fire, wrest it from its mantle. The age of fire was founded by the old gods, sustained by the linking of the fire. But the gods are no more, and the all-powerful fire deserveth a new heir. Our Lord of Hollows, it shall be, who weareth the true face of mankind. Be safe, our lord and liege.
So we have unlocked all the endings now, basically. We could either usurp the fire, we could link the fire for and become the Dark Lord for Yuria. Ooh, tough choices. Luckily though, we'll see what happens. Now, I think it's about time we end the game off. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer the questions with the Queen of Lothric, with Osiris, Ocelot just yet. Hopefully we'll be able to answer those in the DLC. We know that Yuria is working for Kingseeker, not for Kingseeker Frown, but for the for Koth, the primordial serpent. And we now know that the Firekeeper is working for us. And we have this diluted feeling that the world we were just in isn't actually our world. This is our world, this Lothric right here that we awoken in, but we've been visiting some other world or time throughout this entire adventure. Quite a twist. Now, as you deliver the last cinder of a lord, you can see that she approaches the bonfire. Strangely enough, if you think about this, Ludleth is the only one of these Lords of Cinders who was here from our world. Or our time. If we believe that, only the Untended Graves was a separate part of the world, but which I don't, then that's the case that Ludleth is the only one from this place. Which is strange in itself.
The 5 lords sit their 5 thrones. All thanks to thee, most worthy of lords. Ashen One, with the lords as thy witness, bend thy knee afore the bonfire's coiled sword, and let the lords' embers acknowledge thee as their true heir, a true lord, fit to link the fire. Farewell, Ashen One. Mayst thou thy peace discover. Noble lords of Cinder, the fire fades. And the lords go without thrones. Surrender your fires to the true heir. Let her grant death. To the old gods of Lordran, deliverers of the first flame.
And now, we are in the kiln of the first flame. And this is the same room as we've been to 2 times already, in different timelines or different dimensions or whatever it is previously. I want you guys to remember the last sentence that the Firekeeper said there. She talked about let her deliver death to the gods of Lordran, the old lords of or the lords of Cinder. The Lord Souls from Lordran is being referenced directly by her. You can see this is the world, basically the same place as we were in Firelink Shrine. But this one is broken entirely. There is one thing we have to do though, back in Firelink Shrine. As you can see now, we have this freaking Firelink Shrine. We have this one, and we have this one. Wow, 3 Firelink Shrines and one chosen undead, or one ashen one. So the last thing I wanted to tell you guys is about Ludleth, because he is now gone, and he leaves transpositioning, of course, but also the skull ring. You can continue using the transposition here if you want to, but he drops the skull ring. Gives us some indication about what he was doing. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Easier to be detected by enemies. That's ironic because it's hard to detect that he was sitting there the first time we got here. One of Carolyn's transposed wonders derived from the soul of a soul feeder. A soul feeder with capital S. Easier to be detected by enemies. The soul feeder was a beast that insatiably absorbed souls to feed its own power, even after its accursed corpse was burned. It is said that the pungent stench of souls left the air permanently stained. A beast that absorbed souls to feed its own power. So we saw that Ludleth was burned. He was damaged badly. His skin was charred. His legs were gone. And we gave him all these souls to feed him. But he doesn't really have any reason for using those, absorbing those. Maybe he just was hungry for souls, perhaps. Maybe we'll get some answers in the DLC. We'll have to see. That was a bad play on words there. But now we're heading back to the Fireless Shrine, the kiln of the first flame. Think back now to the dark, untended graves Firelink Shrine, where there were dark knights, or black knights of Gwyn. Fortress of the Abyss. And one of the places where you fight those black knights in Dark Souls 1 is the kiln of the first flame. So perhaps this is the kiln of the first flame, the same one as in Dark Souls 1. Now I want you guys to see something from this distance here. This is pretty amazing. First of all, you see all these buildings here. That's Lothric Castle. Broken. You see the giant dark sign in the sky. First of all, we have the dark sign right here. The dark sign returns its bearer to the last bonfire he rested at. It's the sign of an accursed undead. Carriers of the dark sign are reborn after death. Eventually lose their minds, turning hollow. And so it is that they are driven from their homelands. But yeah, see that thing over there? There's a giant tree. You can see the roots coming down towards the bottom here. Some theorize this is actually some of the roots beneath the vessel for the souls, the soul vessel that you receive in Dark Souls 1, that you feed with the souls of the lords in that game. We'll see. Click this here, this bonfire, and you proceed to the first flame. The first flame, guys! What is this? The kiln of the first flame, remember? In Dark Souls 1, watch my playthrough of that one if you haven't seen any reference to the kiln of the first flame there. But yeah, you can see some really, really big similarities to that place, especially with the these exploding looking stalactites, or like stalagmites there. Stalactites, I believe, from the ceiling. And you can see that the trees have grown here. And throughout the entire game, we talked about the human pine resin, the abyss, the trees, and we can't really conclude on anything because everything is so obscure. We can summon the Londor Pale Shade to help us if you want to. But if you couldn't tell, guys, this is the final boss of the game. This is the Kiln of the First Flame, with super similarities to that one. Perhaps we're fighting within this vessel of the Lord Souls that has basically grown up to be this huge tree in the future, and the world has basically, well, I guess, shattered around it, moved around. We can also summon Yuria of Londor here to help us out, both the Pale Shade and Yuria, the two sisters. Perhaps they are sisters of the church. Only if you have done the questline, of course. Once you approach this is the final fight. Want to make sure you're ready. Embered up. Might want to use some blossoms here. And it's time to fight. Take a look at the weapon. It's the Soul of Cinder. And the weapon that's using is the coiled sword that we found inside Gundyr in our timeline or our dimension or whatever it is. Perhaps it was the Soul of Cinder who created the Gundyr in that world. There's a reference to that one in the first intro cinematic to Dark Souls. The very first episode we watched that one. We see like the shape of this guy. Oh my god, did you see that, guys? See the shape of this guy basically dragging some sort of corpse into the shrine that we saw. Perhaps that was us in the first episode. Perhaps he wanted to... Oh my god, this movie is really cool. Ah, look at that! Holy shit! I got hit a couple times there. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this guy utilizes 4 different types of moves. First of all, it's this one right here, which is the hardest one in my opinion. He does throw fireballs. He uses a curved sword right here. He also uses magic and a long sword. And he also has a what should I call it? A lance, basically. And he fights pretty much like a PvP fight against every different type of class almost. And theory about what this guy's story is, there's the power within, increasing his damage, is that he is a culmination of the Lord Souls. And there's the lance, which is probably the easiest time to attack him in this phase. Except for that roll there, you gotta be careful with that one. But he does really test your skills against every type of enemy, which is brilliant, in my opinion. So he's kind of like... He might be like a mishmash of the souls of the different players throughout the games. Perhaps everyone has this Link to Fires. And he does have 2 phases. You have to take him down to his 0%. And then he has a second phase that is a lot more difficult. And you cannot parry him either, so that's why I have to swap the shield at the beginning of the fight. Unfortunate thing about this fight is that it is quite luck-based. Sometimes you'll be really lucky and he'll just stay inside his the mage form. Or the caster form, which is really the easiest one of all of the forms. This one is the hardest, and he's gone into this one twice, which is really unfortunate, but yeah. Come on. I prefer just to keep him keep on the defensive in this one, and he'll change out of it eventually. There we go. Going back into mage form, keep at it, just keep hitting him in this one. Try to avoid the attacks. They're fairly easy to dodge away from. Or through, if you want that one, or that instead. Those beams, by the way, above him, they will continuously... there we go. It's perfect time to attack him. And there, you can see him goes into phase 2. You want to back off away from him. He'll do a massive explosion. And this fight is, or this phase is really reminiscent of the Gwyn fight in Dark Souls 1. When he does that, with his sword up his back, you want to move away from him as far as you can. He'll do explosion. You want to run in and get a couple of hits in. But yeah, he fights pretty much like a little slower than... the grab attack got me. I thought I dodged away from that one. But he has some of the similar attacks to Gwyn. And the reason for that might be... because he is... Gwyn was one of the lords that linked the fire, so... Well, let's get away from that move. It's super dangerous, by the way, so you want to avoid that one at all costs. And then run in. And you can hear the music here, the remix of the Gwyn theme from Dark Souls 1. And he does use lightning magic as well. So this fight is mechanically and lore-wise a pretty big throwback. You want to run through the side when he does that one and just dodge a couple of times to the left. Come on. I think you can stagger him if you're lucky. Come on. Almost out of health now. Oh, he used that towards us there. Oh my god. Almost got us there. Let's heal up once more. Almost out of Estus Flask now. This is not good, guys. Ouch. Want to avoid that one again. And then go in for an attack. There we go. Okay, he's staggered. That's the soul of Cinder. The final boss of Dark Souls 3. That was the soul of Lords, one of the twisted souls steeped in strength. Used to acquire numerous souls or transposed to extract its true strength. Since Lord Gwyn, the first Lord of Cinder, many exalted lords have linked the first flame, and it is their very souls that have manifested themselves as defender of the flame. So all the flames that have, or all the players, all the undead, and Gwyn that link the fire in Dark Souls 1, and presumably also Dark Souls 2, culminated into this creature here, the soul of Cinder, to defend the fire. Now we have a couple of options here as to what to do. If you haven't done the Uria questline, or given the eyes to the Firekeeper, you can only press link the first flame by clicking on the bonfire here. Alternatively, since you have the Firekeeper quest, we can summon her here, and she will give her one of the endings. We can also change that ending during the ending, which is kind of cool. And if we link the fire now, we will get the Usurper of Fire the Usurper of Fire ending from the Uria questline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys this ending right here. And if you want to check out the other endings, I have a separate video for that, which I'll leave in the description below the video. So you can check that video out to check out all the different endings. But for now, it is time to end the cycle, as I think we deserve a bit of rest. And almighty and never-ending power, of course. So let's end the cycle.
gracious Lord, make Gundyr whole.
And that was Dark Souls 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough, and I tried to cover as much as possible, as I mentioned in the previous episode, and I had a lot of fun at least, so I'm happy regardless. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like here and save the playlist, or take a look at some of the previous episodes and share it with your friends and stuff, because I really appreciate if you do that. This music here is so beautiful. I love this thing. That's one of the most beautiful things about this game is the music. It's so good. So yeah, check it out. Check out some of the songs from this Dark Souls 3 because they are amazing. So next off for me, we'll be doing Bloodborne later on during this autumn, but I'm going to save that for a little later. Because yeah, I'm going to prepare for that, and it will take a while, and there will be some different videos coming up before that happens. But we have not left Soulsborne yet. There will be Bloodborne as well, which is the best game in the series in my opinion. So yeah, until then, I just want to make sure that you're happy. So leave me a comment below if you have any suggestions as to what you want to see on the channel, and what you guys thought of the playthrough. I would appreciate that a lot. And yeah, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of the credits and the amazing music, and I'll see you guys in the next playthrough. Bye bye until then. If you stay to the end, you're crazy, but there is an Easter egg here for you guys that I made. Well, there is some other thing left for us to check out, and that is transposing the soul. We can basically only get this one. The lightning spear, the sunlight spear more precisely. Miracle of Gwyn, the First Lord, hurls the sunlight spear. The tales of Gwyn's archdragon hunts describe the inception of the Age of Fire. That's the last transposition there. Thank you so much for watching the video and this little Easter egg at the end. See you guys next time. Ah!